Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanisms in our new game, Rolling Realms. Rolling Realms was originally a print-and-play game that I designed during the early days of the pandemic, when I just wanted to kind of connect with people. We were all feeling, at least I was feeling, self-isolated. I think other people were too. And so I wanted a way to play a game that scaled infinitely and could be played with anyone from around the world. So I designed a game using Stonemaier Games as references to create a series of mini games in which one player rolls 2 dice, and all other players use the numbers on those dice and some of the resources they gather from writing numbers down to write numbers down on realms that they have. So at any given time, all players have the same 3 realms that are randomly determined at the beginning of one of 3 rounds, and they write one of those numbers. So if I rolled or if anyone, doesn't matter who rolls it, if a 5 and 6 are rolled, I would use a 5 in one of those realms and a 6 in another of those realms, in the hopes of getting resources to spend to have more flexibility, and also to get the most stars, because ultimately you're gaining stars, as shown on the bottom of each of these cards, that add up over the course of the 3 rounds. There are 2 things I think that I want to highlight here in terms of my favorite mechanisms. And I should say, be very clear, that I'm completely biased about this game because I am the designer, I'm also the publisher, but I like talking about mechanisms, and hopefully this might give you some ideas for other roll and write games or other games. The first thing is, I designed this specifically to infinitely scale, which means that there's absolutely no player interaction. There's not even really a reason to pay attention to other players at all, which is kind of the lightest form of player interaction, looking at other players to see what they're doing, which you could do if you're at the table with other players, but this game can easily be played remotely, because you only need one player to have these dice, or only one player is rolling the dice. That's the only thing that needs to be shown on camera, or even just shown somewhere. You don't have to have a live camera to do it. But hopefully people will enjoy this at the actual tabletop as well. But you can add in as many people as you want, as long as you have enough realms to work with. The game comes with enough cards for 6 players. So you just roll these dice, and everybody uses these dice. And I really love that, both in today's world, in this current still pandemic world, where sometimes we can't get together with our friends, but we want to still play games with our friends. I love that it can infinitely scale in that way. I also love, and I discovered this with some other roll and write games, that I love when you start to play a roll and write game. If someone else shows up late for game night or something, you can add them in without really impacting the experience for anybody else. They're very scalable in that way. That's the whole point of an infinitely scalable game. So I really like that element, I think it's actually an asset in this game that there's no player interaction, no reason to actively pay attention to other players. I think that's my first favorite mechanism. The other, though, is the idea that 3 random realms are selected at the beginning of each round. And each player takes out the cards from their stack. There's 6 different colors of cards, or backs of cards, sets of cards for different players. And all players will take the same 3 realms and use those realms as the puzzle for that round. So in many roll and write games, and there's nothing wrong with this at all, I enjoy plenty of roll and write games where the interface itself that you're writing on is always the same, and it's the input that changes from turn to turn, from round to round. In Rolling Realms, both of them change, creating a ton of variability, because not only are the dice changing every time you roll them, but also every time you play, you're going to have a different combination of 3 realms. And so, whereas in one game, I might have this combination, and they might play together a certain way, it might depend on which, maybe one realm is a little better getting resources earlier, so I might go after that one, and that might tie into being more powerful in a different realm. It really depends on the combinations. In a different game, I might have a completely different combination that I have to work with. And so I really, really like the variability that comes with rolling realms because of this card system. These are dry erase cards. I got the idea from the game Silver and Gold, which also uses dry erase cards. And so you use these cards for this element of variability from round to round and game to game in Rolling Realms. So those 2, I think, are my 2 favorite mechanisms. And actually, one other thing added to that last one is that it also makes the game essentially a living roll and write game, which I hadn't thought about when I designed the game. But we are going to offer promo packs of different realms. So there are 11 realms representing the 11 games that we've published so far in the box. And then in the future, we'll offer packs like this that offer other realms. So we'll have a Rolling Realms realm for Rolling Realms. That's this promo pack. And so you can add them in, and all you have to do is shuffle them into your packs and or the different player decks and start to play with them too. So I love how it can continue to scale, not just infinitely in terms of player count, but also into the future as we add more games into the Stonemaier Games lineup. We'll typically, I think, have a promo pack to go along with that so that you can scale up your game of Rolling Realms. So those are my favorite mechanisms in Rolling Realms. I would love to hear your thoughts when you get the chance to play, what your favorite mechanism is, or if this reminds you of any other games that scale infinitely and that's actually a big asset for the game, or offer variability both in terms of what you're inputting into it and the platform that you're using. There are plenty of, I think, games that do this, plenty of games that have variability in terms of your own personal interface. But I haven't seen many roll and write games do that, so I thought I'd mention that here. Yeah, those are my thoughts on Rolling Realms, and yeah, I look forward to hearing yours in the comments below. Thanks.